Hi, everyone. This is Tom with Going Into Tomorrow. I'm here with my good friend, Karsten. I've had the opportunity to work with Karsten for the last 4 or 5 years, and he's just a fine young leader. And so we asked him to participate, and he gratefully agreed. So, Karsten, you mind tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Was born into a military family over in Germany and grew up most of my life in San Antonio, Texas. And so growing up there was fantastic. Ended up dating and marrying my high school sweetheart. And so we were in the same kindergarten class, if you'd believe it.
Wow.
And so we both went to Texas A&M, graduated in 2020. And so we just welcomed a little one into our family. So now we have a 1.5-year-old Landry at home. And so I've been married coming up on 6 years now, which has been fantastic and such a blessing. But coming out of school, graduated in 2020, and so COVID was a tough time in the job market. Was very involved at A&M, and if you would have asked me, what would you be doing when you graduated? I was like, well, the one thing would be for sure is that I'd be employed. And so that was a huge humility check for me. Just coming out of school and trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life. And, God works in mysterious ways. And so I stumbled into a company doing affordable housing consulting. I studied industrial distribution in the school, so nothing in the realm of commercial real estate, but, God works in mysterious ways, guiding our paths. And so I was the first employee at a company out of San Antonio called Streamline Advisory Partners, where I was the first employee there. And so we were a consulting shop and realized that, in a lot of ways in the affordable housing space, it was just as hard for us to consult for our clients at the time as it was to just develop it ourselves. So we actually grew that firm into a 3-time top 50 affordable housing developer in the nation as just a 4-person company. So it was a really unique path, but came over here to JPI, and it's been fantastic.
Good. Sounds like a path that God was directing.
That's exactly right.
So, Karsten, our question is, do you have a particular Bible verse or passage or character that really speaks to you now or at a certain period of your life? And can you tell us what that verse is and why
Sure.
that is?
Yeah, a life verse of mine, actually, I was reading through Matthew when I was in college, and this verse really struck me, and it's Matthew 5:13 through 16, which says, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." And I think in a lot of ways, affordable housing is kind of this unique space. But why I have loved it so much is because you can truly be the hands and feet of Christ. You can provide quality housing for families that truly makes an impact who are, housing is oftentimes the number one cost of these households. And so in a lot of ways, by being able to do affordable housing and being able to be distinct, you can truly, make your profession also a ministry, and you can be a light to others. And so I think in a lot of ways, being salt and light, as believers, we're called to be distinct. We're called to be set apart from the world. And so what that means is to live out your faith daily, to be consistent in your walk, whether in the privacy of your home or out in public with others, but to truly be a reflection of the love Jesus demonstrated for us in the way he lived, and to be a light to others, to be on mission for the gospel.
Wow, that is so enlightening, even for a 69-year-old. So thank you for that testimony. So, Karsten, given that, going into tomorrow, who is someone that can really benefit from that message?
I think it's an encouragement to all believers, right? I think in a lot of ways, that is exactly what we're called to be. You can be a lukewarm Christian that goes through the motions, maybe shows up to church, and you do your faith socially and optically, but there's no consistency. And so I think in a lot of ways, the encouragement should be to all believers to say, our faith is the primary thing. We all have professions and we all do things, on a day-to-day basis, but that's not why we're here. the reason we're here is to be a light to others, is to be so bold in our faith that, you can go up to someone at the grocery store. You can go up and, get to know people. I think, one of the things that always struck me is I did a breakfast one time with a gentleman who's also here in commercial real estate in Dallas. And, he posted something on LinkedIn about his faith, and that struck me, so I wanted to get to know him. And so when we got to breakfast, basically we sat down, did our pleasantries, and when we went to order, we got our food, and he first stopped by asking the waitress her name. And when she shared that, he remembered that for the entire meal. And when our meal was brought out, he said, ma'am, I know we're about to bless our food right now, and we would love to pray for you specifically. And so he asked her what was going on in her life, and she was talking about her son and how he was going through some stuff. And so we stopped right there, and he prayed for her specifically. And I thought that was just such a remarkable example of what it means to be on mission and to be a light to others. And so I think it's an encouragement to me, and maybe a challenge to all believers, of like, what little things can you do in your day-to-day life that don't really take a ton of extra effort, but enable you to be on the mission for the gospel and to point others towards the hope we have and what we believe and why we believe it.
Wow. You were a yell leader at A&M, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah, I thought so. And just anytime your name is mentioned, leader is going to go along with that in the past and in the future.
Well,
Thank
really
you for joining
that.
us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.